Hey guys, what's up? We are back with some more reactions after dark, and we are of course going to be watching My Parents Brainwashed Me for 10 Years to Protect Me, obviously by Stephanie Sue. Now, last time was crazy. I was going to say horrific, but last time was pretty gross, because we are still doing the like your horror experiences, your scariest experiences. Like she can't make up her mind what she wants to call the series, but I think it's your scariest experiences or something like that. This thumbnail probably says horror though on it. But last time was a bit too much. Like even I was like, wait, hold on, why is this so over the top gross? Like it's further than I thought it was gonna go. I tried to warn everyone not to watch that video. Like I made a post about saying don't watch it. Like the thumbnail basically says don't watch it. It just says viewer discretion is advised, but it basically says don't watch it. The title says don't watch the video, so if you watch that video, I mean, can't blame me for that, but thankfully nobody unsubscribed, I don't think, uh, from watching that video. I thought that could be the case, but no, I think we're fine, which we are at 1,200 subscribers, by the way. We hit that before I uploaded that video, I think. And we're still at over 1,200, so, woo to that. So thankfully no one just went running for the hills after that video. But hopefully this one isn't like that one. It's only 40 minutes, which is going to be even less for us. Because of removing the mukbang part. If there's any ads, that'll be removed, plus the 1.5 speed increase. It's only going to be, I don't know, 30 minutes? Maybe even 20, depending on how much we cut. So today's is probably going to be short, probably like less than an hour, if not like an hour long. I feel like they all been like an hour or so, like give or take. Like hour 30. But this one's probably going to be sub an hour. But yeah, hopefully nothing disgusting this time around.
Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Stephanie, and today I'm here back with another
Okay, so as usual, we're gonna skip past all the eating and whatnot. Though I think this is a mukbang of them eating a bunch of different pizza places pizza. I don't know if they're gonna be comparing them or not, but I think it's like maybe Papa John's, maybe Pizza Hut, and someone else. I don't know who the third one is. Because I didn't look at the thumbnail, but like her actual thumbnail shows you who they're eating. I think we are at where she starts talking about it. It's actually pretty deep in there. We're like 8 minutes basically on the clock. Because like 1 second is when she's gonna start talking. So yeah, 8 minutes into the video. So we've already shaved off a lot, basically down to like 30 minutes already. So yeah, pretty short video today. I mean, that's good for me. Just to have some time to chill. Though the other pizza is Domino's. It's Domino's, Pizza Hut, and Papa John's. That's what they're eating. And the thing is, she was like enjoying Papa John's the most.
Let's get into your horror stories. Please leave the craziest, scariest thing that has ever happened to you in your life, and I want the details. I want to know the juicy juice. This is the first story. When I was 7, I had horrendous teeth, and they were growing in every single direction. Anyway, my baby tooth took ages to fall out because they were glued into my head, and I ended up needing my 2 front teeth taken out because my adult teeth were growing through, and I had a 3-month-long trip to Greece and Germany coming up, and the dentist said that I would be too long to keep them in, so my mom booked an appointment to get my teeth taken out. Now, the day of the appointment comes, and my mom doesn't want to put me under anesthesia because she thought that would be too much for my 7-year-old little body to handle.
Is it? Because I don't know how that works. Is it too much for a child to deal with? How do they do surgery on children, if not with anesthesia?
So they said they would put a numbing shot in my mouth. Bro, knock me.
Like numbing mouth? Like no. Like you don't want your kid to go through anesthesia, but you want them to get a needle stuck into their gums and being traumatized for the rest of their life from that. I can only imagine how like horrible that feels. I know like probably like a lot of people have to deal with that, like needles in the gums. Because we're talking about like needles in. Yeah, I mean this is like a viewer discretion is advised because we are talking about like a lot of rough stuff. Because in the first, which episode was it? This is the third episode, right? Yeah. So in the first episode of your scariest experiences, we were talking about like needles in the foot, right? Which that's something I have had to deal with. Which if you didn't watch that, that's what we talked about that at one point. And again, that experience is incredibly uncomfortable. It's the pain that comes afterwards, which is um horrific. Like 9 out of 10 on the uh, pain scale. I think it was what I would refer to as like the aftermath, the after effects, the side effects of having needle injections into your feet to numb them. Like the aftermath pain is like a 9 out of 10. Uh, so yeah, I can only imagine what needle in the mouth is going to do. Though the needles themselves is just a very uncomfortable feeling, like probably one of the most uncomfortable feelings. Like, cause like I said, they're moving it in and out, back and forth, constantly. They're not just like poking you and then injecting and then pulling it out. No, they're poking you and then moving it in and out of your skin, and then moving it to the left and right and up and down. It's not just a stationary thing, which is oof. I would assume if with the gums though, they're just poking you and then injecting. Though I believe that's dangerous, right? To inject in the mouth because it's so close to your brain, and if that stuff gets into your brain, you're dead. You're dead. It's just game over. So you got to be careful with doing those sorts of injections, I think, in the mouth, as far as I know.
Out. Okay, we did the stories of the anesthesia horror stories. I don't care. Knock me out. I mean, the simplest thing, I'm like, can you knock me out? Like, they're like...
Well, I guess the problem with anesthesia is if it wears off mid thing, like maybe you still won't feel anything, but being awake whilst being, torn apart is, I think, a fear that like a lot of people have, just because, like, if you know about that, then you probably have that fear that if you ever have to go under anesthesia, like you're gonna end up waking up in essentially a sleep paralysis state. You can't move, you can't say anything, but you're awake, completely aware of what's happening to you, like whatever kind of surgery you're getting, like you're just wide open, being modified, and just nothing you can do or say.
Ma'am, this is a Starbucks. I'm like, do it. Do it, okay? But when the nurse held up the needle in front of my face, something in me was like, fuck no. And I would not let them get anywhere near me with this needle. After about 5 minutes of me making a whole fuss, they just said that they would put this numbing cream over my gums. This shit did not work. Uh-oh. There were 3 nurses holding me down while some motherfucker pulled out my 2 front teeth with these stupid medical pillars. I was screaming, crying, kicking around. They eventually took them out, but the trauma of that shit will haunt me forever. I can't even think about my teeth without cringing. On top of that, I had to endure 6 years of braces and metal shit in my mouth. My teeth are perfect now, so at least I have that.
Oh my god, 6 years?
Bruh.
It's usually like 3 years, I think.
Bruh, I had mine for 6 months.
Man, you are lucky.
Thank you.
Again, I don't know what would have been worse, is what, getting them pulled out with just the cream, or like, again, needle in the mouth. I'd have to assume the needle mouth is like a horrible sensation.
You know what's crazy? How long do you think he had his?
You have braces?
No.
Bro,
That is a
your
flex.
teeth are insane.
Your teeth is really pretty.
They're really beautiful. You know what I heard? That people in other countries other than America, typically they don't need as many braces. That's what I heard. I heard it's like all the sugar intake we eat. We just grow some weird teeth over here.
And that changes the formation?
Yeah, that's what I heard. Listen, don't quote me on this. I know nothing at the end of the day. I thought Domino's was the best pizza.
Yeah, we're just eating junk. We need to get rid of all this junk that we're eating. I think, you can't quote me on this, take this with a grain of salt, that our teeth are probably like worse now than they ever were, question mark, because of all the junk that we eat. Like if you actually go back, which it doesn't make any sense because you assume that people back in the day weren't brushing their teeth because they didn't have toothbrushes, but you go back in time and look at like skeletons from a gajillion years ago and their teeth are like okay, and it's probably because, they weren't eating all this junk food and drinks that we are. They're just eating food the way it was meant to be eaten, raw or whatever. I feel like even cooking food, I know this sounds crazy, even cooking food might be not okay. because I don't know how, if anyone's like thought about this, where I feel like cooking food is unnatural if there's some sort of like governing law that's like higher. So if you want to say God or just like the universe itself, some sort of governing law or just evolution itself. Like you think evolution was like, yeah, uh, they're going to start burning their food and then eating it. No, it probably intended you to eat it straight off of the animal, which it would be hot, but not cooked with fire, right? And then other stuff like evolution expected you to eat the animal right then and there, and then eat fruits and vegetables raw, not cooked and whatnot. So I don't know if even cooking food is dangerous, and we just haven't realized that. I just think that's like something to think about because you really think evolution considered the fact that we were going to start burning and cooking food? I don't think so. Of course, that implies that evolution itself is something that has some sort of sentience to it. Question mark. But yeah.
I still think it is.
He's a diehard Domino's fan, okay? Trigger warning, this is kind of hard to talk about, but basically, I was renting for my boyfriend's family and his grandpa was my roommate.
Your grandpa,
Bro, I'm just imagining living with your grandpa. Can you imagine if I was roommates?
I can't.
I was leaving for a mountain trip with my friends and I left my dogs at home and his grandpa, who seems nice and was always good to the dogs, but the night before I felt this weird urge to buy a camera just to make sure he feeds them and stuff since he's, you know, old. 4 hours into my drive into the mountains.
I'm guessing like a camera as in kind of like something like a Ring doorbell. No security camera, I guess, inside.
I was alerted that someone was there, so I looked at the live feed and I saw him pinning down my puppy and forcing.
I was going to say, hold on, before she says anything, like forcing it to eat, I hope. Because that like gasp and inhale there was like nuts. That's why I'm stopping.
So I looked at the live feed and I saw him.
Like she literally choked on her own spit, it looked like. Like she gasped and then like had to like swallow. That's how bad this is. So what the heck is she gonna read that it had that kind of reaction out of her? Should I pause, watch what she says, and then come back and be like, okay, maybe we shouldn't listen to this? I feel like that might spoil it for some people because they're not getting a live reaction, quote unquote, reaction in quotations, because it's usually just me talking and not, you know, emoting all crazy, right? But I guess I'll let it play. I hope that it says, like the person has said, like holding them down and forcing them to eat the food, please. Say they're just force feeding them. Because whatever this is not in the title. We're talking about brainwashed. So come on, please. No Emmys, no Emmys.
Pinning down my puppy and forcing himself on her.
Why? I was worried that that's what it was going to be, but like, can I catch a break? Like, the last video was like, again, psychotic, and now we're doing it again? Really? Again? And that's like coincidental because I got a comment yesterday about the Uncle. What's his name? Uncle. It's not Uncle Red. That the video with the guy who dressed as a woman and was getting stuff for relations. You know, Uncle whoever, right? Because I don't remember what he was called. Got a comment on someone talking about me pointing out what we just heard here. You know, animal relations. Because like at some point Stephanie talks about like she's trying to make a comparison or whatnot. And she's like making like a moral dilemma scenario, and I pointed out like, yeah, I mean that it's illegal. Whatever she was saying is illegal because it's, you know, relations with an animal. But so it's like very coincidental that I just got that message last night, and now we're talking about something that is that again. Like, oof, can I catch a break? I guess. Warning again. I mean, it's already too late, so I guess I have to like put another warning on the title. It's gonna be like, finally, okay, I can say this one's okay, or something like silly like that, like, I promise this one's good guys or something like dumb like that, but like, clearly not.
Wait, say that. Wait, what? Force?
He's trying to assault a
Like, he didn't.
dog.
I was horrified. I called my dad who lives 3 minutes away and he went over to take them out of the house. After I called, I went back to the video and saw him fingering
Ew.
my dog.
Yeah, I think I'll be traumatized actually.
The dog is traumatized.
Oh, that's yeah.
But like I would be traumatized and then I would feel so much guilt for not protecting my dog.
Right. Oh my god, the dog would like not even trust humans anymore.
I was so
Who's the grandfather?
shucks. I'm 19 and I haven't had an easy life, but this is what killed me. My dogs are my kids, and what's even worse is that my boyfriend's family told me not to tell the police.
Why would they say that? I'm just checking to see if this is like age restricted. How does she get away from that? These videos not being age restricted. I mean, none of mine are, but it's like this. I mean, this was 3 years ago too. But I was really hoping we could just get like actual scary stories and not disgusting stories. Like, why do we keep getting disgusting stories? Can we just have like spooky stuff for Halloween, please, and not all these oof gross stories?
What?
But I did it anyway because like what the fuck, I got the case and I had the dogs at the vet luckily. They only have an infection. They are still suffering after everything. After all I did, this motherfucker got on a plane, is somewhere in Vietnam, and I don't know where he is. He will never be punished for it. I lost trust and respect for everyone around me telling me I'm overreacting. Bruh.
What?
What?
I think I've made like 3 impassioned YouTube videos about this one guy that I knew, and Mango didn't like him.
At all.
And I was like, red flag. Mango would growl when he got near her, and it made me so suspicious that when I wasn't looking, he had like kicked Mango or something.
Yo.
And then, even then, nobody really told me I was overreacting. Most people were like, damn, that's weird.
I mean, that is weird.
Yeah, and the fact that people, no, you are not overreacting. So yeah, this made me lose faith in humanity. What's worse is the law, animals are property, and the only reason I had a case is because he is doing it to my dog and not his own. The stress from this has been so bad, I was even hospitalized because I thought I had heart attacks, but it turned out it was broken heart syndrome. The good thing is the dogs are safe, and I've given them a better...
What is broken heart syndrome? Hold on, let me look that up. Okay, so apparently it's after like a huge like emotional stress or something like that. The heart weakens and bulges and resembles a broken heart. So literally the stress of something that could break your heart literally makes your heart become a broken heart shape, which is crazy and a bit too poetic and on the nose, question mark. It's stuff like that that makes me question reality. Like, really? We have a syndrome where if we actually become brokenhearted, our heart resembles a broken heart? 'Cause it makes things seem fake, and the more things seem to be fake, it's like, okay, is the entire existence just fake? But we're not gonna get to that today. That crazy syndrome.
better life, even though the situation was so bad. But I will definitely never unsee that video. P.S. I love you and Dan. Your videos give me joy.
Hey.
And then you know what I heard? I heard stories of like back in the day, farm boys, not all farm boys, okay, but some farm boys would practice on goats.
Goats.
Do I wanna even like continue on? Because she's just talking about like more gross stuff, but can just skip. Anyone who's probably already here has already skipped past this part. On the radio, don't know what it probably was KTFM, which is over here. That radio station, I believe, on the radio talked about this was like 30? 30's too far. 25 minus years ago. Has anyone ever said that? Like, 'cause usually you say like a number plus, but I'm saying 25 minus because it could be not that long ago. So 25 minus years ago. On the radio, they were talking about like this farm where they were doing something like this that she's saying with cows. Not the same thing, but and they were just talking about that on the radio like nothing. So, I mean, that's an anecdote that I can add to that, what she just said, but like, why is it gross? Again. Where is the spooky? This is supposed to be your scariest experiences, and it's just your grossest, disgusting experiences at this point. As they're eating.
That was too saucy after a conversation like that. It was really creamy.
Like, couldn't you get a disease or something?
That's what I'm saying. Like, it would be smarter and a lot less cruel to just stick it in a hot pocket or something.
Ew, that's gross too.
No, like, if you genuinely can't find anything or anyone, there's other things
Bro.
online, but let's say they're, sometimes they're pricey. Get yourself a frozen hot pocket, microwave it.
Honey,
Wait, this
like,
is
don't
not
be giving
instruction.
weird advice, okay?
Yeah, like what? What are you doing?
You're right, you're
What the heck
right.
are
What
you
just
doing?
came over me? Nearly getting kidnapped in kindergarten, Black Forest edition. I swear this happened, and only in the last months, I'm now 24, I talked about this for the first time, and I realized, because of the comments that my friends made, that I might have been in real danger. Before I start, I want to make something clear. To that time in kindergarten, I must have been around 6 or 7 years old, and I loved to lie. I'm laughing because, I tell you, I feel like kids always go through a phase where I heard it's psychologically you're learning. Apparently it's like a thing that all kids go through, but it's the worst fucking lies. Have you ever heard a kid going through their lying phase? It's like the most bizarre lies.
Example.
It's like, who ate the chocolate? And the chocolate is like all around their face, and they're like, we have chocolate at home? No, but because, not really because people would give me more attention, but because this way I could tell my little stories. I'm an author now. Bitch. Ooh. Anyways, this being said, no one believed me when I tried to tell the adults about what happened in the dark forest. See, that's
The dark forest.
reliable narrator. Okay. That's the problem. Okay. It was autumn, and my group got old enough to prepare for first grade. My kindergarten also included a little bravery test at the end to make clear that we are ready for the big world.
Okay, it's like, what is with that warble in the background? She always has like these very subtle sounds in the background to the point where it's like, is that her or is that sound in the house that I have to like pay attention to? But it's usually / always just the audio that she's pumping in.
Now, I have no clue what American kindergarten would come up with, but that was a German kindergarten. And not only are we, after all, the country of poets and the Grimm fairy tales, the Disney stories, many of the old ones are nice versions of the Grimm tales, we also have one of the scariest and most haunted forests in the world, the Black Forest. Now, it also happened to be that I lived basically 3 steps away from the forest. And it was not only called black because of the medieval times, you could not see light in there, but as today, it was named back then, but also because basically everything lived in there. That's not good. Not only murderers, thieves, people running from the law for other reasons, people back then were convinced that there were monsters living in there. And
Sure.
let me tell you something. We were never allowed to go down there as kids, but obviously we did. At day, at night, at dawn.
Oh my God.
And there was something really weird about that forest. Some days, paths seemed... I almost had a heart attack. Some days,
But of course, here's like a cool, quote unquote, spooky place like that. You're gonna want to go over there as kids and play around and like test how far you can go into it. At your own peril, of course.
paths seemed longer than usual. Other times there was a hut, and the next day, it had vanished. But the thing that weirded me out the most was this. To this day, whenever I'm in there, I do not hear a single sound. At one point, it seems like the forest really begins and just swallows you down. Car sounds disappear, and as long as there's no other person or a dog, you hear nothing.
Oh,
Dead silence in a place where animals usually thrive.
sure. Got to be careful with that. Again, if you're on team anything and everything exists, because you can't say it does or doesn't. Again, got to be careful with that because Fae is a thing, Fae, right? And that's usually like forest related. Is going to a forest where the Fae are at, and there's like all these rules you have to follow, and you have to know the rules, and don't break the rules. You break the rules, you get screwed over, die, weird things happen to you. You get replaced, your name's stolen, whatever. If you know what I mean by Fae, well then you probably already understand what I'm trying to get at, because it's too much to like get into. Like I try to explain as someone who doesn't know that much about it to begin with, but yeah. If you go into a forest and it's like just absolutely silent, I'd be like, oh, this is some Fae stuff, I'm out of here.
Exactly.
Not even wind?
That's what I heard. If you're in a forest and you hear the bugs, you hear the insects, you hear the birds, and then suddenly you don't hear them anymore, you're screwed.
Wow.
Because that means they're scared of something.
Is it true?
That's what I
Or is
heard.
there something else is approaching maybe?
Yeah, they said that's why you need to
You know the crickets? You hear
Yeah,
outside,
yeah.
and then sometimes you open the door, you step outside, they'll stop. When you
Oh
get
my
near
God,
them.
yes.
Oh my gosh.
That's wow.
But we had a cricket in our garage. Drove me crazy. And I'm losing my marbles.
I think that cricket is not in the garage. I think it's in like a pipe near the garage.
Oh my God.
So the sound probably like echoes in our house. That cricket is like
Put
echoing
it
in
on
our
the
house.
speaker.
So I would go into the garage and slam my feet around and yell, "Fucking cricket!" Now back to the story. The test of bravery was simple. We had to walk a path through the forest alone. At the end of the segment, like a few hundred meters, a caretaker waited with the kids that went before you, and you would get rewarded with candy for being brave. I wasn't scared of it. I was rather intrigued. They allowed us to be alone in there, and even better, some of those meters, no one was able to see you because the path had to turn at the end. I thought, nice, let's do this. Let's show the forest that I'm brave. So I said the chant they taught us. It's weird to translate, but basically something about if you're brave and win over fear, you're fine. I said it 3 times, and I went on my merry way. Now, what I remember vividly was that it was a cloudless night that day. I was able to see the sky, the stars, the moon, because the path was well made and quite big. So most of the time, I was looking up, admiring the view. That was the reason I did not see it. See what, bitch? Oh my god, you're building me suspense. You are an author. Besides that, the thing was too fast. All of a sudden, something burst through the bushes on the right, grabbing me and carrying me like the princes do when they save the princesses. I heard heavy breathing. 1, 2, 3. And all the while, I thought 2 things. Now I can see the stars without having to worry about tripping. Nothing can hurt me because it really holds me tight.
Wait, so someone is holding her like a princess?
Yeah.
Like K-drama style? But wouldn't she just see exactly who's holding her?
Yeah.
Maybe
Like,
she
because
can't-
it's right here.
Maybe
Yeah.
she can see.
I was a small child, no clue what danger was, so I didn't feel scared. The thing, maybe a man, probably even, but not sure about that, ran a few meters, then stumbled, and still, I felt safe. It made huge steps, let me down on my feet, and vanished into the bushes on the other side. Then again, silence. I walked the last meters to the other caretaker and got candy, so it was quickly forgotten. Then the end came, and we waited to be picked up by our parents. As my mom was one of the last ones, one of the caretakers stood beside me and kept an eye on me and on the street that we waited by. I finally remembered, so I turned to the lady and said, "Hey, did the person have to hide in the bushes the whole time?" "What? What are you talking?" She thought it was part of the bravery test. Because
Yeah, I mean, I assume like some people would assume that it's like, oh, this was just part of the test, but who knows what this actually was? You know, if it was like a kidnapper or some random person? Question mark. Because there's so many scenarios you could play out of this. Kidnapper who just gave up for no reason. Because, you know, they had it. Kid wasn't scared. They could have just been out of there. But then they decide to just let them go. That doesn't make sense. But, you know, who knows who. Maybe it is a kidnapper and we're saying it's a kidnapper, right? Or that's what she's saying. Another scenario, guy or woman, because we don't know who it is, but person sees a child out in the middle of nowhere by themselves, picks them up and runs them to civilization, question mark, and then beats it. Again, that's still weird. Third thing, I don't know, Faye, because I just talked about the Faye. Maybe Faye showed up, snatched her, then brought her back. I don't know. It could be anything at this point. This story doesn't make sense.
it's so easy to walk down a path. So she was already skeptical. So now someone jumps out of the bushes and carries her. So she's not screaming because she's like, oh, this is part of the bravery test. I gotta be brave.
Makes sense.
It's like when you think a prank is gonna happen. So when you see someone with a mask, you're like, okay, you're dumb. But it might genuinely be somebody else with a mask on.
Okay, that makes sense.
So she said, what? What are you talking about? The person, the thing that carried me like a princess, it was nice, really, but did it get candy like us? It must have been tiring to wait there so long. I had no idea what you're talking about. And I was so confused. I said, the other caretaker in the bushes. And she shook her head and said, not this again. Look, there was only me and my colleague, only us two, you understand? No one waited for you. Stop that now.
I feel like doesn't it put the pin in this story? Well, we wouldn't say it like that, but doesn't that, you know, the way she just said that, I don't know if the author made a mistake there, but she said, not this again, question mark, right? That implies that this has happened to someone else, or it's happened before. But again, that phrasing it that way implies that this has just happened to someone else, question mark. And they're talking about it. So that kind of like boils it down to it could be a prank, because I feel like not a prank, but like part of the test, just because even though it feels like you could say, wait, what do you mean it feels like the test? Because it's like they're gaslighting the children on top of it, right? That's what they're doing. They put them in there to try to scare them, and then when they say, hey, someone grabbed me in there, like, what are you talking about? There's nothing there. Like, not this again. Like, they're intentionally gaslighting them for some reason to make them scared. Even more scared. Right?
Now, I'm tired and you shouldn't even be awake. With that, the night ended. But I kept thinking, if one caretaker waited with the kids who had to walk, and the other one waited with the kids that made it, who or what picked me up? To this day, I have no idea, but I know this. I didn't dream this. My friends, the only one that I told a story of it ago, suspected someone was trying to kidnap me and only let me go because they heard the caretaker with the kids at the finish line. I had never heard a sound in the forest before and after this, except human-made. Let me conclude my story by making something clear. There is a reason that us locals tell you not to go in there alone. It's said that the forest decides who will meet a dark fate and who won't. Something still lives in there. Monsters? Kidnappers? I guess I will never be brave enough to find out.
Well, that's what you call
An author.
An author. If there is a dark forest, imagine there's no such thing.
Oh.
I mean, can we just Google it?
Oh, you're right.
Also, yeah, they are an author, so they could have just made this entire thing up. Question mark. Granted, it's a bit plot holy, just because, again, why would a kidnapper, pick up a kid, perfectly pick him up into a princess carry and then start sprinting, but then let them go? No fuss between either of them? Like, the person's kidnapping him is not saying anything, the child's not saying anything. It's just, let me scoop up this kid. You know what? Never mind. Put him back down on the ground. Doesn't make any sense.
Honestly, don't be offended. The fact that he doesn't believe
Oh
you
my
means...
god.
There is?
Oh. Okay, can I be honest with you?
Wow.
I do think that she's an amazing writer, but I do believe the story because I can see predators going where kids are.
Yeah.
And if you know that kids are supposed to be not supposed to be in the woods, but they are hanging out in the woods, I would find it very easy to imagine that probably some dude is hiding out there.
Sure, but again, the plot hole of why attempt to kidnap and then not finish and just let them go and then leave. Because like you essentially have made it. You did it. They're not fussing, and nobody's around. They're by themselves. You could do whatever. You could just run away. So it doesn't make sense for someone. I'm just saying it doesn't make sense for someone to try to steal somebody and then just be like, you know what? Never mind.
Yeah, that's scary. But I guess that is a good,
Yeah.
place
Because
to...
nobody can find you, and the
Right.
parents probably don't even know they're in the woods to begin with. Okay, next story.
Wow.
Hi, Stephanie, Dan, and Mr. Panda of Wall Street. And those who joined to bless the video today, I'm sharing a little experience I felt. I'm sure it won't be dramatic or thrilling, perhaps too...
I have just noticed I left Discord open, and that's probably like that could have been potentially causing issues with the video. Oof. Okay, there we go. Discord is turned off. Again, I don't know how I didn't notice that Discord is open. I don't think there's been any issues or anything. Because I haven't seen anything pop up on the right screen, but Discord usually uses too much resources. And it's like a problem. So since I'm talking about Discord, might as well be like, hey, remember if you become a member, 6 months in, you get to join the Discord. Though I feel like I should just drop that down to like a month, or if you just become a member, you get Discord access. Just to have that like a bigger incentive. Like obviously it's just there to like try to get people to stick around, but I don't think that really matters. So yeah, when Discord access, my Discord access, you can join, or not join, you can become a member of the channel.
Too sensitive.
Among other things, that's not just one of the things, there's a bunch of stuff. But that's just like one of the things you get.
Who joined to bless the video today. I'm sharing a little experience I felt. I'm sure it won't be dramatic or thrilling, perhaps too sensitive. I'm not sure. I'm definitely overthinking. I might leave another reply about my experience with home invasion. As a cheeky surprise, heart emoji. You're scaring me. I will get into it now. Definitely a content warning. I'm sure there are other women and girls that have felt this fear personally and have been affected by it daily. Men and boys not excluded from this either. I mean, think about it. After
Okay, content warning, question mark.
just saying that statement, your mind leads you to a general assumption. Yeah, something's bad happened to you and it might be harassment. And yeah, unfortunately, yes, that is correct. It gets so normalized within my mind that I must think, it's not that bad. I've been through worse. Others have been through worse. If that's not such a relatable feeling, it's like the most annoying thing ever. And you're like, well, I shouldn't even be complaining. And then you're like, wait, no, it's not what? Someone just harassed me. What do you mean I shouldn't be complaining? Like, you feel like you're doing something bad because other people had it worse. I believe that a certain degree of harassment can be brushed off. You can push it away and forget about it. Leave it in the back of your mind until something accidentally makes you recall it. It makes you feel shitty in the moment and a while after that. But then you move on despite how rough it made you feel, which is what happened in my case. It doesn't affect me anymore. It happened when I was going to take the bus to see my boyfriend. I had just left my home and walked just a couple of minutes outside to the bus stop. I was sitting under the bus shelter on a bench. I'm from London, for context. I knew it when you said cheeky surprise. You cheeky bitch. I knew it. I knew you was from London, okay? I knew it.
Is that a...
Then you must hate my British accent. I'm so sorry.
Hey, it's pretty good. Not
I
gonna lie.
didn't know that anybody...
I like it.
And I'm simply waiting for the bus to come. I'm listening to my music with headphones in. I'm looking around at the roads, the people, the trees that are slowly turning green, and taking in how sunny and wonderful the weather is. I was about to say that. She said, if you didn't didn't know, the weather is genuinely turbulent in London. We recently had a heat wave and it abruptly stopped after getting showers for 2 weeks straight. I heard the weather in London is wild. I see this man walk down the street from across me. I don't think he's any different from the other fews that were walking past. He looks slightly older than middle-aged, wearing all gray and holding a plastic shopping bag, hands behind his back and slightly hunched as he walks. Okay,
Okay, interesting depiction, right? So we have like a, I don't know, a 50-year-old plastic bag behind his back, because his hands are behind his back, right? Kind of hunched over. It just looks like you just envisioning like an elderly person, but they're not that old. Because it's middle-aged. Like, I don't know what middle-aged is. I feel like you could argue like being 30 is middle-aged. I don't think it is. Because if we're being literal with the term middle-aged, it's like, okay, well, what's the average lifespan, or like, what's the maximum lifespan? Because the maximum lifespan we can push is like, what, 100? Maybe there's been someone who's lived to like 120. So for that person, middle age was when they were 60, and 60 to most people is a senior citizen. But yet for that person, that was their middle age, like their literal middle age. But for like the average person, it's like 30, or even some people, you know, unfortunately, their cap is 50 something, so they were middle aged when they were in 20. But obviously they just mean like a general sense. So like middle age is like 40. I don't want to say 50 is middle aged because you're a senior citizen when you hit 60. And then it could be all downhill. I'm just getting like bleak and depressing, but it could be all downhill from there. So yeah, I don't know. I think unfortunately, you could argue that like 30 is middle age, so who knows how old this guy is. It depends on the person using the word and what your understanding or what your definition of middle-aged is. Especially in, again, we've talked about this before, the hag economy, where people are referring to 20-something or late 20-somethings / 30 pluses as hags. Again, this is being used as a complimentary term, like it's supposed to be quote-unquote sexy to be a hag, right? But it's because you're referring to 20-somethings and 30-somethings as quote-unquote hag. That's the only reason like people are like, oh yeah, they're so hot. Yeah, because you're talking about 20-something, 30-somethings and calling them elderly, right? So that kind of like throws more fuel to that fire of what middle-aged means nowadays. But anyways, we went on this middle-aged tangent for too long.
Kind of imagining like a grandpa walk. He crosses the road and walks to my bus stop. He bends down slightly, asking me, "Where are you from?" in a familiar accent. I thought it was unusual, this complete stranger asking me something, and he's asking me where I'm from. So I pull out an AirPod and I reply, "I'm from Vietnam." He smiles endearingly, and I think he must be a kind elder just wanting some company before he gets on his bus. I scoot over so he can sit down. He talks to me in Vietnamese, asking me where I'm going. I reply back in Vietnamese. I feel relaxed and I'm polite. You know, the Asian culture about respecting elders. We engage in some normal conversations. Basic things like where I'm off to and what town I'm from. He says, "You're such a beautiful girl. You're so young." And I laugh it off and I say thank you. Immediately, I'm uncomfortable because in Vietnamese, he had referred to me in a way that was way too flirtatious. The word em, like how people can use the word oppa to flirt or just refer to someone normally, he did not use this word in a normal platonic way. This 16-year-old girl and this late 50-something man, he keeps talking about his day. He's telling me about how he's struggling, and I feel
late 50s is what she's referring to as middle-aged.
Empathy for him. There's safety and comfort in having a fellow Asian person confide in you, you know? Like almost by default, you naturally just accept them. Oh, this is true. I notice that his eyes are yellowed. He's unshaven with grays in his stubby beard. His unmade, swept back hair nearly jet black in color, but mixed with white hair. His fingernails are thick, brown, and irregular in length. He lights a cigarette and offers me one. I nervously laugh and politely say no. I let him keep talking, and it's hard to understand him as he starts to slowly mumble to himself. It's prolonged. He rustles the plastic bag in his hand. I don't know how it had led to this, but he complimented me again on my youth. He asked if I thought he was handsome. I nervously laughed again as if it were an intentional joke by the both of us. The smell of cigarettes are starting to make me feel dirty. The smell is so thick, I can't describe it. It made the air feel thick. He turned to me, looked me in the eyes, and said, "You're so beautiful. Can I kiss you?" I reacted in subtle surprise. I was unsettled and this had me on alert. He kept going without a pause for an answer. "Can I kiss you?" "How much for a kiss?" "I want to touch you." And he kept going, kissing the air. "I want to..."
How much?
"How much for a fuck?" He's
What?
looking at me, smirking.
Paused the wrong moment because of didn't even hear what she just said there.
And he kept going, kissing the air. "I want to fuck. How much for a f? He's looking at me, smirking, chuckling, and grinning as he parts his lip for another puff. I'm on the verge of tears and I ignore him. I don't know why, but I'm frozen in my seat. This man that I had felt immediately disarmed by had just... wow. He looked like the kind granddad, one who might be struggling without his kids as support. Immediate...
Where is she? They're waiting for the bus, right? Because if he's talking like that, I'm just assuming like he thinks she's a trying to like make up a word for YouTube, an extracurricular worker, I guess is what we can call it. Like he thinks she's that, and that's why he's like asking for all that stuff. That's like an easy explanation for what's going on. He thinks she's an extracurricular worker, but of course he's just like a dirty old man, right? So I'm not saying it's okay. I'm just saying is that what's happening, or is he just being like really messed up, or is he like literally thinks she's a worker and he wants to have that sort of transaction with her? Question mark.
Immediate empathy, immediate trust. Of course, I had never told him anything personal at all, but I felt so violated. My bus came just in time when he said that, and when I tell you I was shaking when I had gotten onto the bus, the smell of cigarettes had been engraved into my mind. I could smell it around me and all over my clothes. What horrified me was the utter resemblance to my father, the absolute violation and fear, the disarming trust that is just default. It was disgusting. He had asked for my age and knew it. He kept going. I had reached my boyfriend's house and I told him about it. I brushed it off and didn't get too into it. There's no need to say anything. If it happened so often and so many times when I was younger, including worse things, far worse things, then why tell? Tell who? Sorry, we can't help you. You don't have any details on the man. Oh my god. You know what drives me crazy? The cops, unless they literally assault you, they're like, well, he didn't really commit a crime. And you're like, wow. Disgusting. It was fear, a heart-splitting fear, a horror that had frozen me in a familiar state. I genuinely think it's not a big deal, but what I felt at the time, it was horrific. That is so scary.
Even him asking the age makes me feel like, okay, I think this guy really was like, hey, this girl might be a extracurricular worker. Let me see how much it is. Make sure they're of age. Yada yada yada. It doesn't make it right. I'm just like, is that what happened? You know, I'm just thinking in my head, is that what the situation boiled down to? Of like why he was acting this way, and how many men are acting that way around there? You know, asking that sort of thing. Because then you can go even further. Like, okay, if that's what was going on, is this area known for that sort of behavior, and that's why he was asking? Because, you know, people are quote-unquote turning tricks around here. And thus this area is just known for that, and she was just unfamiliar with the fact that that's a place that kind of thing was going down, and she just had no idea. Again, like, I'm just making up scenarios of like what could be the reasoning behind this other than just gross, disgusting old man. I mean, same either way, just gross, disgusting old man. Well, again, we're saying old man, but he's like mid-50s. I don't want to say mid-50s is old or anything. 'Cause I'm hoping within the next 30 years that, you know, maybe middle age ends up being like 100 years and we're making it like 200. Or even longer than that. Like, I can only hope, right? That the life expectancy increases, / science actually gets a move on with cybernetics and stuff like that. Because like, it's 2025, like when are we gonna get all the cool sci-fi stuff? When is medicine gonna actually do its dang job and get up to snuff? Or when are we start gonna get robotic parts? Like, hello? Science and medicine? Can you freaking catch up to the future already? Like, Jesus Christ. But yeah, anyways. Again, I wonder if that was what was happening there. That was just a place for that sort of behavior, and he thought she was an extracurricular worker.
That's so scary. And you know what? What's crazy is that I feel like every girl, tell me if I'm wrong, kind of comes through this phase where you're so young and you love your dad, right? Or like you have a dad, or maybe you don't, but like you kind of understand the idea of a father figure, right? And so you think everybody that reminds you of the father figure in your life is not gonna be creepy, because how could they be creepy? They're your father figure. And then you hit an age where people that are resembling your father figure, that are like your dad's age, start trying to get with you. And typically, It started for me when I was a minor too. Yeah.
Really?
What happened?
I remember, oh my gosh, I think I was like 16. They have this like a courtyard where there's birds flying around, like real birds, but it's indoors. I was there eating a Starbucks and reading. No, that's why I was alone. It's a long story, okay? So
Did I miss the part where the person talking was a kid? Question mark. Like maybe they were, but she mentioned her boyfriend. And was she getting off, like she was catching the bus by herself, and was she getting off school or getting off her job? I mean, the guy's still like a creep either way. But I don't know how old this person was, because like that's what I was saying. Like he asked how old she was at the beginning. I was assuming that if that was a check to make sure that it was okay, right, to have this transaction with her. Question mark.
anyways, this old guy, I'm 16, this old guy
Like
comes
how
up
old?
to me.
50s?
70,
60s?
75?
I would say close to 60. Comes up to me, sits down, has like a light conversation, and like genuinely, I thought, okay, this guy, he was in a suit and tie. I'm like, it almost felt like a mentorship was blooming in my dumb ass head. I'm like, wow, I'm in New York. I'm in this big city. I'm like a small town girl, and like this guy sees potential in me, you know. And I was like reading a book while I was eating my Starbucks, and he's asking
Where is this happening?
me about it, and he's like, wow, you're so.
Because she says she's having Starbucks, but like, where is she? Is she also at a bus stop?
Intelligent, blah blah blah. And I was like,
You're so
oh my god,
intelligent.
he like wants to give me
Genius.
an internship, you know? I'm like thinking all these things, right? And then like he knew my age and everything. And then at the end, he passes me his business card and was like, I would love to take you out to dinner.
Now that's kind of weird.
And then he walked away. And when I tell you, okay, again, people are gonna be like, what if it was a mentorship and he just genuinely wanted to get to know?
Jesus,
And like the way
man.
he said, I would love to take you out to dinner was like really,
Like 30?
like really out of nowhere slimy. I don't know how to describe it. Like I genuinely was, you know, very enthusiastic when I was talking to him because again, he was a lawyer.
Wow.
So like, you know, he knows the law. Or maybe he wasn't a lawyer. His business card said he was a lawyer and he said he was a lawyer, but
Yeah, I mean, just because someone says they are something and they show you something that says they are something doesn't mean they are something.
Maybe he photoshopped it or something.
so I genuinely thought, wow, we're like, I'm gonna get an internship when I turn 18.
crazy.
Then turns out he wanted to get dinner with a 16-year-old. So then there just like comes a moment where you realize that all your father figures, well, not the actual father figures, but people who resemble your father figures, a lot of them are pedophiles. That's why I'm a firm believer. I see somebody old, I'm like, I don't want to know what you do. I don't want to know what you do in your free time. I don't want to know your thoughts. Don't talk to me. Don't look at me. I don't want to know. No, you're also not making a big deal. And then like being frozen in the seat, I totally understand. You don't even know what to say. But now you feel like you have to make an excuse, and you're just like terrified. So anyways, next one. Okay, so I'm a nurse at an old age care facility, and when I tell you I've seen some shit, I have literally seen shit. A lot of shit. Anyway,
Well,
back to the point. I've had my fair share of seeing people die.
Yay.
And experiencing them having hallucinations or seeing their dead spouses or parents, picking them up to go somewhere, to the point where I've gotten used to it. There was this one sweet grandma, though, who scared the crap out of me with what she saw. It was around 9 p.m., and I was getting her ready for bed. It was winter and already dark outside. As I tucked her in and said goodnight, she said, "Oh, nurse, can you please close the blinds?" I realized that I had forgotten to close the blinds since it was already dark outside anyways. She then said, "I know it's dark already, but why are those kids standing outside my window, smiling and jumping? I just hope they don't come in." Bits. I almost skirted out of that room. I calmed her down and told her the kids would go away. And then I calmed myself down and walked to the dark floorway, to the staircase, and ran down the stairs to the nurse's room, and I quickly got over this incident. A few weeks later, I was in her room again, and we went through the same spiel of getting ready for bed and all. This time, I remembered to close the blinds. While I was standing at the window still, she said, "Hun, you closed the curtains, but I can still see those two men standing in the corner of the room behind you. Can you make them go away?" But this time, I quickly reassured her with sweet nothings. "Oh, no, you're fine." And then I yeeted myself out of that room. I love my job, but these grandmas really do be testing me and my anxiety. Anyways, in case you're wondering, this grandma is still doing well and good. She lives in another station now. I, on the other hand, am still scared whenever I enter that room. What
okay, counterpoint to this. She is, like, the grandma isn't crazy and she's just goofing on this nurse. Like, she's just having fun. Like, she's old. She's in a miserable place. She's just like, okay, I'm gonna spook the crud out of this nurse for my own enjoyment.
would you do if someone in your care tells you they see stuff like that? I'm curious. Oh.
I'll eat too.
Listen. My grandpa had Parkinson's, okay? I'm not laughing at the Parkinson's, I'm laughing at how creepy this is. My grandpa had Parkinson's, and he was convinced people were in the walls. Convinced. And he was convinced that they were being loud, that they were being rowdy, that they were making too much noise. He would do this in the middle of the night, and my step-grandma, my step-grandma would have to wake up. She didn't have Parkinson's, okay? Parkinson's and Alzheimer's, my other grandma had Alzheimer's. It's one of those things where everybody around you suffers a lot more than you do. So she would have to wake up in the middle of the night, go knock on the wall. Imagine how creepy this is in the dark room, okay? Pitch black room. Knock on the wall and go, "Can you please keep it down, please?"
Just by herself?
Yes, and then she would go back to her husband, my grandpa, and would say, "Honey, I told them, let me know if you need me to do it again."
Oh no, that's kind of sad.
And then 10 minutes later, he would wake up from his sleep and go, "Honey, they're loud again.
That's so sad.
Honey, they're so loud."
But Stephanie, was Hairpins.
Yeah, like if you did that to me, I would shit my pants.
Yeah.
Side note, this gave me an idea though. If my kids ever put me in a care facility, with all the nurses, like if I got
Again, like I just said, I could be convinced that this grandma was just literally trying to screw with this nurse just for to get any sort of enjoyment at this place.
down mine.
Honey, you're gonna get some like bruises all over your body.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Okay, but imagine you're completely sound mind. Imagine how fun it would be. Okay, 19-year-old girl walks in, she's your caretaker. You're like, honey, thank you for changing my sheets, but does she always follow you around?
Yeah. She's like, where?
Is that your little daughter? You're so young to have kids.
Who's sitting on your head?
Who's sitting on your shoulders? Oh, no wonder you're so tense.
Yo. You're creeping me out.
Okay, what would you guys do if someone in your care said that? Oh man.
I think I'll find a way to get out of that room.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
We have 3 minutes and 30 seconds left on this video, and where the heck is this brainwashed
You seen the TikTok
story?
stuff that they're like care facility nurses where they're like, POV, your dementia patient tells you that there's a woman in the room trying to fight her, and you're like, let's square up, bitch, and you pretend to fight
Fighting
her.
alone?
Yeah. And you're like cussing them out, and you're like, you better get out the fucking room. She said, get out the room. This is her fucking room. Get out the room. She's gone.
Oh, that's awesome. That's just like your grandma.
Yeah.
That's great.
But imagine watching that.
More fun,
Just,
no?
Like in a video.
Yeah. Okay, last one.
Okay.
Growing up, my bedroom was the only one that faced the front of the house straight. Like the street in front of the house, right? When I was 8 or 9, I woke up to my dad calmly but firmly telling me to get up, go in the bathroom, and shut the door. What? That's so creepy. I was annoyed because I was half asleep, but I listened. Apparently, I was more tired than I realized because I fell asleep on the bathroom floor. The next morning, I asked my mom what happened. She seemed oblivious and confused. I looked at my dad like she was crazy, and I asked him why he woke me up, but he denied doing it. I became frustrated to the point of tears, but ultimately I let it go. Fast forward to college, I was home one break, and I decided to ask again. I had thoughts of that night on and off for years, and it still bothered me. This time my dad goes, oh, I was wondering if you even remembered that. Turns out that a lot of houses on our block were being vandalized and robbed all those years ago. Someone had broken into the garage and was inside the house. My room was partially over the garage. My dad heard it happen and quietly got me to safety. Police were called, the guy ran, he was never caught. However, my parents didn't want a terrified kid on their hands. So for years, they pretended like nothing ever happened.
Oh my god. So they make a kid.
Yeah, okay, so not as bad as you would have thought. With that kind of title, you would think, oh, this is something crazy, and I think that's perfectly fine. Like, right, that's the normal thing to do, is to pretend like everything's okay when it's not, so that they don't have any sort of trauma.
I feel like he's crazy.
So they,
He's like, what are you talking about? Never happened.
The plan backfired and she has lost her marbles.
come on, wait. So the robber was actually there.
Yeah, like in the house, but not in her room.
I'm surprised he didn't do anything like.
Yeah.
I mean, the parents probably like caught on very
Yeah.
early. Like they called the cops and all that.
Oh my
It wasn't supernatural, but it was unsettling for sure.
For sure.
Literally, what? That's honestly a crazy story. I feel like it makes sense for the parents to do that, and I wonder if that's something I would do as a parent.
As a prank or?
No.
Stephanie would be like, we were like, okay, promise, let's never tell our kid. Like, let's not ruin their life. And then tomorrow morning,
I'm crying.
tomorrow morning he's like, daughter, come here. Guess what?
Is this true?
I do be doing a lot of guess what.
Oh.
I do be doing
I
a
do
lot of
that
guess
too, yeah.
what. Shit, like I want to bond over
I'm
something.
like, dude, didn't you say you're not gonna tell anyone? Hey, guess what? Guess what?
Okay.
All right, I know who not to tell.
Well, guess what? Video's over.
All right.
Rude. Fucking rude. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed today's pizza video. I gotta go join the rest of our family and heat up this pizza with them. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know in the comments, what was your creepiest experience? And what would you do if you were taking care of someone and they said, why are they smiling at me through the window? And why is someone on your shoulders?
No, it's not.
So I say that is the end of that video. Again, fine up into the gross part. They just had to have gross part. This is supposed to be your scariest experiences. This is what the playlist is called. So why is it always the grossest things? Like last episode, this episode, like can we stop with the gross stories and only do scary stuff, please? Like enough gross. We have 3 other videos in this series. Can we stop with the gross stuff? Yeah, that was alright. You know, outside of the gross stuff, I don't remember what the first one was about. Of course, the last one was just the most innocent one possible, right? We don't have chapters on this, so we can't really go back and see what was going on. We had the old man at the bus stop, of course, as well, at that one point. But yeah, I think, of course, as usual, we've already said everything we wanted to say. There's something I wanted to get into. Oh yeah, I remember what it was. It's nothing crazy. It's just if you want to, like, just chill here, because I don't think most people even stay at this point. Like once the video, Stephanie's video is over, I'm assuming most people leave. I don't know the analytics on that because I don't check that stuff to see, okay, when are people clicking off the video. I think the average view time of these videos is usually like half to a quarter of whatever their runtime is. So about half an hour is the average for watch time of a per viewer. Like every viewer is watching these videos for about half an hour, give or take. Is what I mean by that. Not like, oh, there's only 30 minutes. No, like everybody is watching them for about half an hour fully. So I assume no one really makes it to the end, but if you do, obviously you can hear me just ramble for a while. So I wanted to talk about something I had been doing recently. It has nothing to do with anything. It's just something that I was like, oh, it gets my mind off of things. I'm seeing a lot of people do this, might even be people listening who do this, but on Amazon, I started a clothing wish list. Also, I realized I'm going back and forth on the chair, like spinning around on the chair. I just realized I'm going back and forth and doing that. I started like a clothing wish list, just like scrolling through, trying to find stuff on there, put it on there, and it like gets my concentration enough to like forget about like any issues that I'm having. So like thinking or making wish lists, I guess, is something to decompress with, I guess, question mark. Though obviously as a guy, it's kind of hard to make like a clothing wish list. Well, hard in quotations, since I can just buy like 1,000 t-shirts, but that's not what I'm really looking for. I'm looking for like alternative fashion, because obviously nobody on YouTube knows what I look like outside of like descriptors that I've given, half like mixed race, long hair. I mean, there is mass cam videos on my channel where I do show up like in person, but you can't see my face. But like ignore that I said that. Though, yeah, I'm looking for like alternative stuff, Like I wear a chain wallet everywhere. I know. I don't know if that's like normal to do anymore. I mean, if you're not like into alternative fashion. But yeah, like I always have a chain wallet. My wallet is always chained up and stuff like that, right? So I'm looking for stuff like that, but of course you can't. Like the fashion between genders is obviously two different things. Like you barely have anything on one side, and then you have nothing but option on the other? Question mark. But yeah, nothing too crazy on there. Just seeing what I can grab and whatnot. We have like some spiked bracelets, because I like all mines are old, because I haven't used them since I haven't used them, but all mines are from when I was like a teen. Question mark. So they're kind of like old and busted and dirty. So I was like, oh yeah, I need some new one of these. I need some new belts. Maybe you can get like some new graphic tees, new pants. Do I have any pants on there? I don't think I have any pants. I couldn't find any good pants on there because they all are like poor quality, it looks like. There is a store nearby that is like a alternate fashion store. It looks like more like a gothy store, honestly. I forget what it's called. It's like Noir Armoire or something. Like not necessarily like that, but it's basically like black armor, I think, is like what you would like maybe translate to, because obviously like noir and then whatever the other word looks like the word for armor, so I'm assuming it's armor, so black armor. I haven't gone in there, but I need to like see if they got anything cool in there. Usually those kinds of stores, like Hot Topic and whatnot are expensive, so I'm assuming this store is expensive too, even though I've never been in there. By the way, Hot Topic I was always hanging out at as a kid. So I'm assuming this is like the Hot Topic of the area that I'm in, because it's the mall that's nearby has one of those stores in it. But yeah, just saying, like maybe I'm assuming if there's that's something that people do, is just create lists of like shopping lists as like a way not to have fun, but just to do something, get your mind off of stuff. I do actually plan up buying, and I do end up planning to buy the stuff like at the start of the month, in a few days, if I can, or like buying some of it, because a lot of this adds up to a lot of money. It's like, Jesus Christ, even though I'm buying like a lot of cheap stuff. So we'll see on that. Anyways, we've gone on this long tangent about nothing, but it did put us over an hour. This long tangent that no one's going to be listening to. Like, I feel like I should put like a lot of the stuff up on the throne, which I might do that. Question mark. I don't know. But yeah. So guys, thanks for watching. Remember to buy my stickers, think about becoming a member, subscribe, become subscribed. Thanks for working on watch time and subscribers. And don't forget we have a throne now as well. And shout out to the members, EmmyStarr, RaleyDrew, and alexgkiller 880. Again, don't forget Discord access when you become a member. You also get a free 30 model. If you stay a member for 12 years, of course you get all the emotes and stuff and whatnot. Access to members only videos, which I probably should be doing some more of those soon, eventually, or not soon, but eventually. Hey guys, thanks for watching. Tune into the next episode. Like, subscribe, comment. That's it. See ya.